as a company, don't underestimate the impact that environmental, social, and governance issues can have on your workforce, not only when it comes to attracting talent, but also when it comes to retaining quality employees. A shift which has been accelerated by the COVID-19 pandemic is an increasing desire amongst employees to ensure that ESG values are aligned with their livelihoods. This is evidenced by a number of professionals across all industries reportedly leaving their pre-pandemic roles after re-examining priorities and lifestyles. It's no longer simply enough to offer employees an attractive remuneration package. What's increasingly important is whether or not individuals feel fulfilled by their jobs and as though they have a purpose. This is no truer than amongst younger generations, with some studies showing that by 2029, millennials and Generation Z will make up 72 to 75% of the world's workforce. These generations place a much greater importance on ESG than their predecessors. They are no longer just seeking an ethical employer, but rather are looking for employers that share their ESG concerns and will actively work to bring about a better future. Recent evidence shows that companies with a positive social impact tend to score higher when it comes to employee job satisfaction, productivity, and retention. As workers become more environmentally and socially conscious and place a greater priority on corporate social responsibility, companies therefore have no choice but to adapt and meet expectations if they wish to secure and hold on to staff. If they don't, then companies are at risk of dragging productivity down and losing talent. So, now that you know why ESG is important to recruiting and retaining talent, what are the 3 key things that companies should be thinking about? Firstly, consider what ESG means to your workforce. Think of the breadth of issues that ESG encompasses, from diversity and inclusion to sustainability, social impact, and mobility. Companies must leverage ESG to both attract and retain talent. To do this, a company must really understand what ESG means to its workforce, and the only way to know this is to first ask your employees. Recent studies indicate that currently the top 3 ESG issues which impact employee satisfaction are emissions levels. Companies with high employee satisfaction and attractiveness to younger talent tend to produce fewer emissions than their peers. Secondly, monitoring employee satisfaction. Companies with high employee satisfaction tend to score higher in understanding employee sentiment than the global average. And board and leadership diversity. Companies with high employee satisfaction tend to have higher diversity percentages than employers with lower percentages, especially when it comes to gender and race. As a priority, make sure you have the musts covered to ensure that you are seen as a responsible business in the market, before you then focus on the other issues which are important to your employees. Take diversity and inclusion as an example. A commitment to this cause is a baseline requirement for most organisations, but is also something that studies indicate are hugely important to both current and prospective employees. Secondly, be authentic. As a first step, consider your own company's current take on ESG and whether you are staying true to the policies and promises you already have in place. Recruitment consultants have reported that a company's current sustainability and diversity offerings are often the very first issue that prospective candidates query. If you aren't already meeting your self-imposed policies and promises, how can your current and prospective employees take any further commitments you make seriously? Businesses that are able to demonstrate that they have a genuine commitment to ESG are more likely to continue to engage their workforce. Studies indicate that there is a correlation between those employers with the highest ESG scores and those employers who rate the highest when it comes to employee job satisfaction, productivity, and retention. In contrast, businesses that don't implement genuine ESG policies are at an increased risk of reputational damage and losing talent. Just look at the number of greenwashing and diversity washing articles in the press recently. Once you've established that you're remaining faithful to your own policies, then consider how you may be able to branch out to include more ESG-focused measures and initiatives which have been identified as important to your staff and in line with your culture. Finally, stay ahead of the market. The post-pandemic recruitment market is booming. Record numbers of professionals are continuing to change paths, and candidates are in short supply across virtually all sectors. Employers must ensure that they differentiate their employee value proposition in respect of ESG. Remember that the large-scale purpose and impact of the company's ESG plan is important to your prospective and current employees, but it's in the day-to-day initiatives, policies, and campaigns that you can really differentiate yourself from others and leverage a competitive advantage. Some industry leaders have taken the following steps to demonstrate their commitment to ESG. For example, focusing on cutting their environmental footprint and increasing social impact investments. Others increase community impact initiatives like mentoring and pro bono schemes involving environmental charities. And finally, some others have allowed employees space to pursue their own ESG priorities, for example by providing additional leave and/or financial resources. So, now you know the importance of ESG in recruiting and retaining talent. What's holding your company back from taking action? If you're still not sure what you can be doing to ensure your ESG credentials are fit for the future, that's where we at Hogan Lovells can help. Bringing together colleagues with a range of skills, our approach is people-centric, and we can provide seamless advice to help you ensure that your people are supported. For example, we recently have assisted clients in implementing processes to support a robust recruitment pipeline and to increase the hiring of underrepresented talent, as well as to develop mission statements, strategies, and priorities using a diversity and inclusivity lens. We would also be happy to discuss with you the ESG issues which are likely to be critical to your company from both a regulatory and a public relations perspective moving forward. Get in touch with us and we'd love to tell you more about how we can help. For more information about how ESG impacts your business, visit us at hoganlovells.com/ESG Academy.